Welcome to day 8 here of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui 2012. It is 9 a.m. here, local Maui time, and already a breeze kicking in, Ben, which is great to see. We see white caps out on the horizon. Looks like we're going to have a pretty windy day ahead of us.
Yeah, on a daily basis, we've been coming to you during the morning show pretty much with a different weather pattern every day. However, today looks a bit more typical trade pattern as we look outside off of the shore here, white capping since we all got up this morning at about 6, and in typical fashion as sort of the morning wears on, that trade pattern should bend in here to the beach. It's already starting to push in, and it's just 9 a.m. so my guess is here within the next hour should get a bit more of a pulse on the beach here. Swell dropping a little bit overnight, not quite as consistent of a swell coming in, but there are still some waves out there, enough to get this thing going, and hopefully we'll be able to do so as soon as that wind line pushes into the shore here within the next hour or so.
Yeah, exactly. Setting up for pretty much typical trade patterns here today. We see that scattering of clouds over the West Maui's off to our right, and as I said, wind line filling in off the horizon there out on the Pacific. And yeah, we saw some great action yesterday. A little bit lighter wind, not ideal wind conditions, but the surf was absolutely pumping yesterday, and we were able to get almost through men's round 1.
Yeah, pretty side offshore yesterday, and the thing about it was that the wind got a bit lighter as you got more in on the inside, so it was interesting to see as the heats went on yesterday. We did get through 6 heats of men's round 1, setting us up for that final men's heat number 8 of men's round 1, first up on the docket today. But yeah, yesterday, under cloudy skies, a bit of a side offshore breeze made it so the riders needed to catch that swell pretty far on the outside in order to have enough real estate to use as they work their way in on the inside before the wind died, kind of right in that reform section on the inside.
Yeah, a lot of them having trouble connecting that last turn as it got through the inside. The bluff up here at Pavilion sort of blocking that side offshore breeze and preventing them from pulling those waves all the way through to the inside. But nevertheless, some great action yesterday. We saw Mitu Montero with the highest heat score total of yesterday in the 16-point range. Absolutely ripping out there. So let's take a look at a bit of yesterday's action, and we will be back here with you shortly on day 8 of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui.
Dia 7, estamos aqui em Ho'okipa de novo. O vento parece estar um pouquinho melhor que ontem, as ondas abaixaram um pouquinho, mas continuam muito perfeitas e parece que vai ser um dia bom de competição. Eu acho que o último evento é sempre o melhor, a galera vem treinando o ano inteiro, a galera está surfando muito bem e eu acho que esse vai ser um dos melhores eventos que a gente já teve. Nos últimos 3 dias, antes da bateria, eu estava doente, fiquei de cama, só assistindo vídeo e comendo e tomando remédio. E chegou na hora da bateria, eu já estava um pouco fraco, mas eu treinei o ano inteiro para isso e não é por causa de uma doença que eu vou ficar mal. Estou com chance de ser campeão, então é focar e treinar.
Well, we were looking at a forecast today that was semi-promising and true to Maui style, that you know, for everywhere else in the state has not even a breath of wind, we've got wind here at Ho'okipa. So we decided to get rolling with the contest and see how far we could get. Yeah, all the riders are super impressive. It's pretty difficult to pick one out of the bunch, but watching all the top guys come here and you know, show where kite surfing the waves have gotten to, it's mind blowing.
So just a little recap of the action yesterday, Sky. Even though we discussed a little bit earlier that the conditions were a bit challenging, looking back on the action, it was definitely some great waves ridden out there yesterday. As you said earlier, Mitu Monteiro kind of highlighting that first day of action with that highest heat score, that 2-wave score, and as we just saw, like, definitely deserved it. He was in the right place at the right time for his heat yesterday, and really just ripping through some of the waves coming through yesterday.
Yeah, and wave selection was definitely key yesterday. You know, those challenging wind conditions. The surf was obviously pumping yesterday. We had great waves on offer, but kind of had to luck into not only getting the best waves that were sort of lining up, because it was a little bit scattered across the lineup out here, but also having to luck into kind of a puff of wind as you came through the inside to actually line it up on the waves. So Mitu getting the better of that heat, and yeah, some great action. That was an awesome clip. The guys are ripping.
And we saw Kiahi de Aboides, the young Australian ripper, who kind of establishing himself as one of the early favorites here for this event, doing that sliding 3 on the inside there on the wave face. We can expect more of that from him and some of the other riders here, as the swell kind of dropped a little bit today. Might offer a little bit more room for a little bit more of an aerial attack there on the inside here. So we'll stay tuned and see what those guys can come up with as the heats progress today. Again, here, day 8, and we will be beginning with the final heat of men's round 1, heat number 8, before moving directly into the women's first round. And we're hoping for a long day of action here. Riders meeting just happening down there. We did get official word, Sky, and it looks as if we will be on hold as of the present moment, with the next possible start just under 1 hour from now at 10 a.m.
Yeah, so when we come back to you live in just under an hour from now, we may be rolling straight into heats. That first heat up is going to feature Patrick McLaughlin, current points leader, front runner on the KSP World Tour, here at his home break in front of his home crowd. I'm sure his family and friends are going to be coming down here to cheer him on in that first heat and watch him as he makes his charge towards the final and hopefully towards his first ever World Championship title here at Ho'okipa.
Exactly, so stay tuned. We are going to be back with you here live, as you said, Sky, hopefully with the commencement of the rest of men's round 1 in just under an hour, and if not, we will have the latest updates for what the weather patterns are looking like and what contest directors have decided for the rest of the morning going into the afternoon, but all signs pointing to getting this thing underway pretty quickly. So until then, we will see you in just under an hour. I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Sky Solbach, and we will see you back here at 10 a.m. Aloha. a.m. update here from day 8 of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui 2012. We are still in a bit of a holding pattern here. Another riders meeting taking place down here, just getting briefed on what we can expect for today, Ben. Well, we still see those white caps out there on the horizon. It's just a matter of time before it swings on shore and we get this thing underway.
Yeah, we are going to move to 15-minute calls down on the beach, which means that we will be coming back to you live every half an hour with an update. And as soon as it looks like it's suitable conditions to run the event, we will be coming back to you live with the start of that men's round 1 heat 8.
Exactly. So, yeah, just waiting for conditions to improve here. Our next call will be here at 10:30 live on KSPWorldTour.com. Hopefully we'll be getting straight into the heats. Again, heat number 8, men's round 1 will be coming up first. Patrick McLaughlin here looking to make a charge for the world title.
Exactly. So in just under half an hour, see you back here. Have a good little hiatus. Take a little nap. Get some breakfast. Take a siesta. And we'll be back and see you in just under 30 minutes.
See you guys soon. This is your 10:30 update here from Ho'okipa State Park, the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui 2012. Find ourselves here on day 8, and well, it looks like those white caps still out there on the horizon, Ben, but unfortunately have not made their way quite into the beach yet.
Yep, again, for the second time, we kind of find ourselves in the same position that we were in before, still waiting for that to push in. A little bit of a cloud came up over our heads now, kind of stopping that little extra thermal push that kind of bends that trade wind pattern in here towards the beach, so we are still on a holding pattern. Again, we're going to keep on that half an hour call basis. You may have heard over the loudspeaker just now, riders meeting, telling everybody that it's the same thing that we've been waiting for the last half an hour. Even though they're on 15-minute calls, we're coming to you with half an hour updates. But we do have some news to sort of update you with based on our position in the field so far, and how far we've gotten in the competition, and how much time we have left to finish this thing. There'll be a few adjustments to the ladder board, Sky.
Yeah, basically, we just heard from our head judge, Brad Price. In the interest of saving time, we are here on day 8. It looks like we will get contestable conditions this afternoon, and tomorrow's looking maybe a little bit variable, and then looking really good to finish up on Sunday, especially we're going to have a little bit of that, or Saturday, I'm sorry, with some north components to the swell filling in, maybe even get a little bit bigger surf to finish it up in strong wind as well. But yeah, all things being equal, that first round, obviously 3 men and 3 women in those heats. Basically, the way that they're going to switch up the heats is the winners of that first heat, round 1, will advance into round 2, and then the top 8 heat scores of those 8 heats will join those winners in round 2. So basically, we're going to a short dingle format, which is an alternate format that we're implementing here in the interest of saving time, and looks like we should be able to finish this thing up nicely in the next couple of days, Ben.
Yeah, and just to go into a bit more of an explanation, we are sitting right now, next heat on the water is that men's, finish up of men's round 1, that heat number 8, that will include Patrick McLaughlin, Jacob Apple, and Top Hat. And that first round pretty much goes as normal for all of the heat winners. They advance directly into the next round. However, in the original ladder, they actually skip directly through into round
Round
4.
four, yep.
And rounds 2 and 3 are the knockout rounds that then go in and feed into that, the 4 and then 5, where it gets back into everybody in the same side of the ladder.
Exactly.
So it's still happening the same way in that the heat winner advances straight through, except they now go straight through to round 2 instead of skipping some rounds in the interest of time, as you said, Sky. So again, heat winners, the top 8 of those heat winners directly into round 2.
Yep, and exactly. And from then on, it's basically a knockout situation. So having to advance every heat in order to make a charge for the finals. And, of course, Patrick McLaughlin coming up in that final heat number 8 of men's round 1. He'll be looking to advance on and, make a charge for that world title here. We've got a lot of men and a lot of women in contention to actually win this thing here at Ho'okipa. And in the interest of saving time, going for this short dingle is hopefully going to ensure that we can crown our champions here, have a great event, and...
and it's not such a strange thing. It's actually the alternate ladder we have. It's not a backup ladder. It's not something that was just created on the fly. This is the alternate ladder, based on timing, based on condition. So not uncommon for events to have to go to this situation based on time. It's one of those things where you can kind of look forward and see how much time is actually left in the event, see how much time you need to complete it, and luckily at the point that we were in the ladder, we were able to switch to this alternate ladder to pretty much ensure that we'll have a finish by the end of the heat, by the end of the holding period.
Exactly. So again, we are on a holding pattern here. We will be back with you live at 11 a.m. just about 20 minutes from now. Hopefully those whitecaps filling in and that sea breeze pulling in around Haleakala and filling in here to the shore, Ben.
Yeah, and we will probably get a bit more of an opportunity as soon as the heats start to explain a bit more in detail exactly how the ladder is working. But at the present moment, those top 8 guys out of the first round will go in, and then after that we will go for the top 8 heat scores from the rest of that field. Again, every heat score can be seen on the updates on the ladder on the page
just to the right of the player.
Exactly. So you can kind of go through and see who's sitting in current top 8 position. However, with that one more heat remaining, we can't set the field completely for those top 8 best heat scores advancing into that round 2. But that's technically the nuts and the bolts of how that ladder is set up, Sky, to get us set up to be able to finish that on time and as fair as possible.
Exactly. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We will hopefully be coming back with live action at our next update, 11 a.m. here at local Maui time. We will see you back here shortly. Aloha for now.
Aloha.
This is your 11:30 update here from day 8 of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui 2012. Still waiting for that wind line to fill in out there, Ben.
Yep, not too dissimilar from our last call and the call before that, But does look like it is trying to pulse in here, and as the valley heats up, sun gets up overhead, it should sort of kick in that little thermal that sometimes it takes to suck that trade wind pattern in through the valley, get the wind coming right up into shore. We can see the tops of the waves kind of blowing off out there, so hopefully that comes in here relatively soon. It is pretty early still, 11:30 a.m. here local time. Usually people here thinking about riding don't even look at the water before 11 o'clock. So since we've been here since 9, it seems like we've been waiting a long time. But in all actuality, this is not too uncommon for the wind to sort of be offshore a little bit until the afternoon begins.
Yeah, it is a little bit more southerly than normal. We have a southeast flow at the moment, but as the land heats up, should pull that breeze in off the ocean, sucking it through the valley here. And well, as you can see, a little bit of wind filling through here, through the commentary booth. There is some wind out there, but it just needs to make its way onshore. We saw a few gusts come through about 20 minutes ago, blow some kites off the beach. It is very windy. As soon as that breeze actually does make it to the beach, I think it's going to be probably 7-meter conditions.
Yeah, it's going to be blowing the hinges off the outhouse door, that's for sure, Sky.
It'll be blowing the dog off the chain here at Ho'okipa Beach Park. So we are going to be on hold here for another half hour. We'll come back to you at noon with the next call. Hopefully when we come back, getting competition underway with that heat number 8 of men's round 1.
Yep, but until then, stay tuned. We'll be updating as soon as we know any more via Facebook, via Twitter, and of course we will be back with you live in just under a half an hour. Again, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we'll be back with that first heat of the day, men's round 8. So until then, I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Scott Solbach, and we will see you back here at noon local Maui time. This is your 12:30 update here from Ho'okipa Beach Park, the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui. That wind line finally filling in, Ben, and looks like we're going to get a start underway here very shortly.
Absolutely. Your afro's moving around a little bit there. It looks like there's wind filling in. And everybody has actually just made the call for a potential 1 p.m. start. That is what we are going for at the moment. So fingers crossed when we see you again here in just under a half an hour, we'll be bringing you that first men's heat of the day, which is heat number 8 of men's round 1. Again, first possible start is 1 p.m. as of right now. No longer a call. This is an actual official start time, 1 p.m.
And we see that wind, we can feel that wind rather, filling in here, the flags flapping, going crazy, almost blowing us off the bluff up here. Looks like it's going to be pretty windy, probably 7-meter kites, and the guys are down there getting ready for their heat. So 1 o'clock, please check back here, and we will be hopefully getting underway with action here on day 8 of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. See you guys back here in just under a half hour. Day 8 of competition here at Ho'okipa Beach Park. Thanks everyone for joining us online and here live on the beach at Ho'okipa. We do have riders out there staging, getting ready for this, the last heat of men's round 1. We just heard the horn. That green flag is up. Coming up in this heat will be Patri McLaughlin from Hawaii, Jacob Apple from Denmark, and Top Hat, also known as Kevin Sen, coming from North Shore of Oahu. And looks like Jacob Apple there just getting a little warm-up ride. Patri McLaughlin heading back out to the outside, looking for a set wave. Definitely a decrease in swell size here today at Ho'okipa, looking quite a bit smaller than what we've seen the last couple of days. But still some good sets coming through in the shoulder to head high range. Top Hat there on your screen, heading back out, looking for a set. Searching the lineup for those lumps coming in. Here we go, live action. Patri McLaughlin dropping it on his backhand. Patri, the current KSP World Tour frontrunner. Nice little opening ride on a smaller inside wave. Let's see if he can line a little something up through the inside. And nice little ride there for Patri to open things up. Top Hat here on the outside, chasing this one through, trying to get around this little flat section, and that's not going to offer much more scoring potential for Top Hat.
It's going to be a pretty sectiony wave out there today, Sky, as you said, with that decreasing swell out there. It's going to be not only a little bit peaky, but wave selection is going to play a huge role in this, as well as sort of being patient, because as we see out in front of us here, it's not line after line after line with swell coming in. So patience is going to be a virtue, is going to pay off at competition today. It is blasting windy out there. We did wait most of the morning for this, as we see Patri McLaughlin here.
Nice little snap there, holding it together, getting a little hung up, kind of floating that section. Another nice little backhand turn. These waves not quite offering up the same kind of scoring potential we saw here yesterday with this decrease in north swell. But Patri already getting 2 rides under his belt, showing everyone why he is not only the Tour frontrunner, but a favorite coming into this final World Tour event.
Again, our riders on the water. The first opening minutes of this men's heat, number 8 of round 1. You see a few lines on the horizon on their way in.
Looks like the wave magnet so far in this heat. Patri McLaughlin here, eyeing up this section, dropping it on his backhand, getting a good amount of speed, coming and just getting a little bit of bobble in his rail there and going down.
Unfortunate, that one was one of the nicer waves we've seen so far this heat. Unfortunately, not able to quite hold it together there on the bottom, as you see kind of here as Patri makes his way back out, and Top Hat. Pretty prominently offshore wind condition today, working their way up, so it's going to make that wind a bit funky as they head into the inside. Again, waiting for heat scores to drop. As you see on your screen in front of you here, Patri McLaughlin on the board with a 2-wave score, 6.34. Top Hat in second, but only 1 wave counting, as well as Jacob Apple, only 1 wave counting. Pretty early to make any decisions on what's happening out there, Sky, but as you said, Patri so far the guy who's had the highest volume. However, as we know, volume doesn't necessarily mean victory. Wave selection, wave choice is gonna be very important today.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that yesterday. Just the wave choice, with it being sort of a little bit of a broken up swell. That's obviously going to play a huge factor today. Here we have Patri McLaughlin once again dropping a nice backside turn. Looks like that board working well under his feet. saw him catch a little bit of rail on that last wave and pulling that one around nicely. The judges are going to love that nice completed ride there from Patri. So here we have Top Hat out the back, one nice turn followed by another one. See what this thing will offer up through the inside, hitting that closeout section. And that is going to be a good little first score there, or second score rather, on the board for Top Hat from Oahu. We have Top Hat in the blue Lycra once again. Big arcing turn there, throwing a good amount of spray, getting good projection off that bottom turn, and just
kicking out the back of that one. But two nice solid turns on one of the larger waves of this heat we've seen so far. Again, medium-sized surf out there today. But this heat so far producing probably some of the better sets we've seen since we got here this morning, Sky.
Yeah, and you know, one thing about Hokipa here is I see Jacob Apple going down there. If there's any swell at all out there in the ocean, this place is just an absolute wave magnet, so not much swell on the maps, but great waves. Patri McLaughlin going down on that turn, hopefully not catching a fin there. Looked like he had some contact with his board going over the lip of that wave there.
Yeah, again, this is first heat on the water of the day. This is our third day of action, day 8 overall at the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro here on the beautiful island of Maui. We have 3 riders on the water. Our final heat of round 1 before we jump into the women's draw. On the water in the white, Patri McLaughlin, local boy here of Maui. Jacob Apple on the water in the green, the Danish rider, and Top Hat in the blue, over from just a short plane ride away on Oahu.
So current situation out there at the moment has Patri McLaughlin in a pretty secure lead. I believe we're still waiting for scores to drop from our other 2 riders, but Patri currently sitting in the lead with an 8.67. So that last scoring ride, I believe, was a 5-point ride, which improved his situation. Here we have the Danish rider, the Great Dane, Jacob Apple, and see if this thing is going to give him a little something to work with here on the inside.
Kind of bogging out a bit on those bottom turns, Sky. As the wind gets a little funky there on the inside, the kite control is going to be a little bit more important. It's definitely blowing stronger the farther these guys go out into around that point there. As you can see, a little bit upwind. So a little bit of timing and kite control here as we come on the inside, as we see Patri there with a nice little stylish top turn staying in, but again struggling to kind of carry the speed through there. I think a lot of these guys today are going to have to be out on the water a little bit to try to kind of get an idea what the conditions are giving us out there as we switch and see Top Hat here again kind of bogging out there in that bottom turn. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys adjust to the little bit variable conditions we see right in the bay here at Hokipa.
Yeah, for sure. So we will wait for scores to drop. Our latest update here still has Patri McLaughlin in the lead with an 8.67. Top Hat in second with a 6.5, needing a 5.4 to overtake the lead from Patri. And the Dane, Jacob Apple, with a 4.6 in third place currently.
Well, hopefully yesterday you were able to tune in for the live broadcast. We had a couple of visitors on the outside here at Hokipa, putting on quite a show, Sky. Always awesome to see some whales show up. It is that time of year when the migration period starts happening. And yesterday we had such a brilliant display, a pod going by out in front, baby whales jumping like crazy, lots of fin slaps out there, and It was great to see some of the natural beauty here on this island as we go back to Jacob Apple here on in the foreground here. Not quite able to outrun that little foam ball section on the inside, putting in one turn, but it's probably not going to be what he needs in order to get himself up into the lead over Patry McLaughlin, currently holding the lead over both Top Hat and, again, as we just saw, Jacob Apple. Patry holding currently two-wave score 8.83 to Top Hat's 6.5 to Jacob Apple's 4.6 current situation.
So these guys just sort of playing the patience game out there, waiting for those sets to roll through. Again, it is a pretty broken up swell, some north and northwest components to this swell, as pretty much the leftovers of that last northwest we saw over the last couple of days. Here we have Top Hat taking a look at this one. Nice first arcing turn there, and trying to find a bit of power from his kite. And he's going to eject out of that one as Patry lines up, not quite finding what he's looking for. Patry definitely being really selective with his waves so far. He does surf and kite out here a lot, so he does know this lineup really well. And using some of that local knowledge so far in this heat. Top Hat putting on a show there for the crowd on the inside. Going for a nice stylish no-footer there on the way out.
Always the entertainer, Top Hat out there. I mean, with a first name Top and a last name Hat, you know, you're expecting him to go out there and put on a great show for everyone here on the beach, for you guys at home.
He's going to try to pull a rabbit out of the hat and nail that 5.57 he needs to overtake the lead from Patry McLaughlin.
It's a brilliant piece of commentating there, Sky, pulling the rabbit out of the Top Hat. You are everything except witty, I think is what they might say.
Oh, I try my best, Ben. So improving conditions here at Ho'okipa this afternoon. We waited around quite a bit for wind this morning. We thought we would have that wind line filling in a bit sooner than it did, but we are certainly stoked to see this competition get underway. Currently about 1:15 p.m. local Maui time. Maui local Patry McLaughlin here on another small insider. Let's see what this thing will offer him as he works his way down towards the end of the point there at Ho'okipa. 2 small turns. That's probably not going to factor into his scoreline.
Carrying a bit more speed there on the inside. If you can tell by watching on the screen, when that sun kind of pops out, there's a few overhead clouds kind of passing over. When that sun pops out, it kind of heats the land up a little bit more where we are, a little bit downwind of us, and bends that trade pattern kind of in. It has a little bit of a south component in it today, so not quite as consistent close into the beach, but when that sun pops out, it does kind of offer that little thermal boost, getting that wind a bit further into shore and allowing these guys to carry a bit more speed. And that's going to be important today as the swell's dropping a little bit, so it'll be kind of the critical sections will be a bit closer to the beach, though. For sure be appreciating a little bit more of a pulse of wind closer into the beach than either on a normal trade pattern or on a normal or on a bigger swell.
So these riders on about 8 or 10 meter kites out there at the moment. So it is a little bit gusty wind for sure, definitely when you get on the inside. But some serious white caps out the back, and hopefully this wind will continue to fill in throughout the afternoon.
Kevin Top Hat Sen checking this one out on the inside. We do have green flag down. We are in the final minute of this heat. See if Jacob can't initiate that bottom turn as he did. Probably going to be his last scoring wave of the day. Back up. We see Patri as well on the upwind side, trying to milk a little insider here right as the horn sounding.
That's going to be Patri's last scoring ride, so probably not going to factor into his 2 highest scores. We will wait for final scores to drop here, but tentatively looking like Patri McLaughlin taking the win in that heat, and Top Hat taking the 2nd place.
Yeah, so current situation has Patri at an 8.87 two-wave score, Top Hat with a 6.628 two-wave score, Jacob Apple 4.77 two-wave score. We will await those results to become official as we are now in sequence for our next heats on the water, and we are going to take a quick commercial break and be back with you in just a moment with more action here from the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro.
We just saw heat number 8 of the men's round 1. Patri McLaughlin looking like he took the heat win in that last heat, Ben. We will wait for final scores to drop, but tentatively looking like Patri McLaughlin winning that heat with an 8.87 two-wave total. Top Hat in 2nd place with a 6.6, and Jacob Apple from Denmark with a 5.03. We will be going straight into the women's round 1. Red flag currently up. We are in transition, and we will get that women's heat number 1, round 1, underway here shortly. So a pretty rare sight to see down there on the beach at Hokipa. Not normally a place you see kites pumped up. But we're definitely stoked to be able to run our finals of the KSP World Tour here at such an amazing contest venue. Been a little bit of a challenge with the wind conditions over the past week or so. But strong breeze filling in here to Ho'okipa Beach Park this afternoon. And lots of action still yet to come, heading straight into women's round 1. So coming up in this first women's heat, heat number 1 of round 1 of the ladies, Nina Bichler from Germany, who is current world number 2 following our last event in Ireland. Nina will be coming up against Christine Böse from Germany and Erika Lindberg of Sweden. So Nina Bichler out there in the white jersey, Christine Böse in the green, and Erika Lindberg in the blue. Here we have Christine Böse looking at that first wave. Not much on offer there for Christine.
Yeah, again, Nina Bichler, victor at her home spot in Mauritius earlier on tour this year, was coming out of that event the world number 1 points leader heading into Ireland. Lost her spot at the top there, but still in contention for the overall 2012 KSP World Tour Championship. Needs a good result here. Needs to be in it right there at the end to give herself a chance to be able to take home the victory, as we see here on the inside here. Actually this is her natural direction, though maybe not as comfortable as she usually is riding switch the other way most of the time, but a nice little inside hit. Not quite able to pull that one all the way through.
Christine Böse here lining up on a good looking wave here. Let's see what this thing has to offer. That offshore breeze making it difficult for that re-entry, but pulling it off nicely. Erika Lindberg here in the blue lycra. Bit of a smaller wave and not quite able to hang with it there. So as predicted, we do have that southeasterly breeze filling in. That thermal effect finally kicking in and pulling that breeze onshore. Certainly good to be back in the booth here with you, Ben, calling all the play-by-play action.
Yeah, we had a kind of a small holding period in front where, we got to see each other every day, but we more had to deal with each other's company instead of being able to commentate some action here on the beach. Glad that the waves and wind are finally back with us the last few days. Hopefully sticks around today, tomorrow, and the next day as we see Nina Bichler here on the outside. Christine Böse right behind her. Nina looks like she's racing around the corner here. Doesn't look like that's going to wall up for her on the inside. And Christine as well deciding to head back out and get back into the lineup.
Kind of crazy to see Nina riding left foot forward. We've gotten so used to seeing her on the other stops on tour riding goofy, and funny enough, as you mentioned, Ben, this is Nina's natural stance when she's surfing, but living in Mauritius, she normally rides frontside there, and here we go, hooking on to yet another one. Looking pretty comfortable riding left foot forward. And Nina already on the board with a 5.17, establishing an early lead in this first heat of women's round 1.
Nina definitely disappointed coming off of that Ireland event, relinquishing her overall points lead on tour. Hoping to come back to this wave here at Ho'okipa, suited perhaps a bit better for her to her style. And is definitely out there gunning on taking this event title home as well as the overall championship.
Christine here in the green jersey. That wave kind of running away from her. Doesn't look like it's going to offer that much scoring potential. Trying to go for a little foam climb, and just looks like she's really struggling for power in her kite. And not quite able to make that one happen. Christine currently sitting in second place in this heat with a 3.17 and a 1. So pretty low scoring affair so far in this heat, Ben.
Yeah, and again, I think wave selection, wave choice is going to play a huge deal in the scores in this heat. It looks like it's paying to stay a bit patient as we switch over to Erica Lindberg here into a pretty good one on there on the outside, one of the larger sized one, not really able to do much with it in the beginning. Let's see if she can't utilize that little section on the inside. But having proper wave selection seems to be the most important factor in these heats, as the waves on offer are coming in a bit further in between sets and are going to reward the riders who are being a bit more patient out there today, Sky, as we go and check out Nina Biekler on another one here. She's been probably catching the most significant waves so far, and her score showing that as her latest update at a 7.442 wave score to Christine Buza's 4.942 wave score. Christine needing a 4.28 to overtake the lead.
We see our cameraman, I believe that's Richard Hallman, on the back of Hero's jet ski out there. Saw some great images from yesterday's action. Richard out there all day with Hero, brave in the elements to bring you some of those incredible shots from the lineup out in Ho'okipa.
Riders jockeying for position out there, Sky, as we await the next little swell. Looks like Erica Lindberg here on the inside is going to decide to take one, as well as Christine Buza.
Christine almost losing her board there, trying to sort of find a little something more on offer here on the inside. Looks like that is going to do it for that wave. So again, we've talked a lot about wave selection. It is going to be a major factor in these heats, with a pretty long wait between set waves out here.
And all three riders so far in this heat, Sky, choosing to stay a bit further upwind, more in that middle section here. The wave right off the point here, right underneath the judges' tower where they are sitting, is breaking pretty far inside. Some of the reaches on the inside of the bay here have proven to be a little bit light as riders were getting close to shore. So it's interesting to see as this wind kind of pulses in and out, sort of the location that all of these riders choose to hang out in now. As I said, most of the riders kind of in that middle section to utilize the wave breaking a little bit further out into that wind. However, there might be something to be said, Sky, for moving down a little bit right in front of the judge's view. The wave down there, as good a form or better perhaps. It's basically a factor of wind right now for these guys, trying to decide how far in they can go and still have enough power to stay on the wave. Current situation, sitting in first in the white jersey, Nina Biekler, the German living in Mauritius, 2-wave 10.5. She's sitting with a 5.5 and a 5 2-wave score. Christine Buza in second place, 5.04. Needing to knock one out of the park to catch Nina or combo her in order to take over the lead. Erica Lindberg sitting in third with a 2.67. Also needing to combo up to be able to move into that first position. Again, on the line here, a passage for the heat winner directly into the next round, and then to fill out the remainder of the field on the women's side we'll go almost immediately to those top heat scores to advance into round 2 as we see Nina on the inside here, getting it pulled a bit out the back thanks to that offshore wind there on the inside. Sky not quite able to stick with that one all the way to the inside.
So we caught up with Nina a little bit earlier in the week, and she was talking about the similarities between her now home island of Mauritius and the island of Maui here. Really similar when you land here in Maui, coming from Mauritius. Really similar landscape with the sugarcane fields and a lot of the same birds and really similar climate. So I think Nina just feeling right at home here in Maui and enjoying her stay here for the first time on the Valley Isle.
Yeah, actually funny saying that if you had a chance to join us for the Mauritius event on the live stream, we profiled Nina right before that women's final, saying that she hopes she can win the event, and when her daughter gets a bit older, that she can look back on it and be proud of her mom and think her mom was cool, and I think there's no doubt for that. But funny that she mentioned while she was here, as we were catching up with her earlier in the week, as we go and see Christine, I believe, Boza here, coming on the inside, picking out one of the better ones in that set for sure, just not quite able to stick with it on the inside.
Nina right behind her. Looks like a little bit more of a smooth face on this one. Nice first turn there. And see if she can get a completed ride here and maybe hit this closeout section. She is going to go ahead and kick out of that one. Nina Beekler currently sitting in the lead still with that 10.5 two-wave total.
And Sky, as I was saying before, Nina's daughter, Emma, is here as well and kept asking her mom to go home to their house because she was a little confused looking around her, thinking that she was actually in Mauritius, thinking that they could just go back home. So again, testament to how similar the climates are and the landscapes and animals, as you were saying, Sky. Pretty funny.
And Christine here lining up another good-looking wave. Let's see if she can make good use of it. That last set wave she had looked pretty good, but unfortunately getting sort of hung up on that second top turn. Looking to improve her situation. She's going to need a big score here to overtake the lead from Nina. Nice second turn there. Let's see if she can finish this thing up nicely on the inside. And going to go ahead and slingshot out of that one.
Nina on a little insider there, probably won't increase her situation as it stands. Currently her in first place, sitting still with that two-wave score of 10.5. Winding down into the final minutes of the heat. We still have green flag, but we are pretty close to coming into the final minutes as Nina turns around on this one. We are into the final minute of this heat featuring Nina Beekler, Christine Boza, Erica Lindberg. Christine bettering her situation, 7.572 wave score. Christine also on the water as a competitor, but not only that, also tour president here. Been working a fever pitch, getting everything together here, coordinating the teams, and also out there on the water, the funnest part of the entire competition, out there on the water, giving Nina Beekler a run for her money as we switch back over here on the wave in the foreground. Erica Lindberg. on the wave. Not able to translate into a high scores. We do hear the sound, the horn go off. Ending officially heat number 1 of women's round 1 again. Looks like Nina Biekler passing on. We'll have to wait for official verified scoring. But it looks as if Nina Biekler, barring something we didn't see, Sky, passing over Christine and Erica directly into that round 2, and both Christine and Erica having to wait a bit to see what happens with the rest of the heats, where they'll end up in that next highest heat score ranking.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going to step away for just a moment to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be back soon with women's round 1 heat number 2. Day 8 here of the Ho'okipa Kitesurf Pro Maui 2012. Coming up next, heat number 2 of the ladies. Inês Correa, reigning world champion. She is from Portugal, the site of our first event on tour this year. Kari Skibavag from Norway will be wearing the green lycra. And a girl that turned a lot of heads, impressed a lot of people in her wildcard qualification round, Muna White, coming just a short flight away from the North Shore of Oahu.
We are yellow flag down, which means just moments away from that green flag. Again, continuing into women's round 1. This is heat number 2. On the screen in front of you, our competitors in the next heat. Looks like the sun's out, Sky, and it's bringing the wind a bit closer to shore. Riders will be happy with that. Wind direction a bit more normal, a bit more side shore. Had been offshore for quite a deal of time this morning, but looks as if it perhaps will get a little bit stronger here in towards the intersection of the beach, which will be great as the swell. As it's declining a little bit, waves breaking a bit closer to shore today.
Now, yellow flag is flying, signifying less than 1 minute before that green flag goes up. Muna White on a little warm-up wave here, feeling out that board, looking nice and sharp. Definitely, in a very short time, become one of the favorites to do really well in this event, Ben.
A little bit of a squall coming across the beach right there. As we said, a little bit shifty wind here going on as we hear the horn for the start of this women's heat number 2, round 1. On the water now. We saw set come through right in just the seconds before that horn sounded. Green flag up. Again, it's kind of a patience game out there today. Lines coming a bit more infrequently today than they were yesterday. Hope you've all had a chance to go check out the action clip, the action recap from yesterday. Some pretty great action that we saw, though only really running 6 heats. Please go check that out. It's on the live webcam. The live webcast that you're watching right now at home. As we switch down to first wave, first blood taken of the heat. Looks like Kari Kiva Bag not quite able to do too much on the inside. Switching over.
Now look like Muna White trying to line up one there on the outside. Kicking out, going to go find something a little better. You can see that angle that Kari is taking to the outside, showing us just how side offshore the wind is here today at Ho'okipa. So definitely a little bit gusty wind, but these girls on their relatively small kites.
You want yellow?
Out the back, actually in the foreground here, Inez Correa not quite able to make it to that section. Defending world champion Muna White here on a little insider. Let's see if this walls up, gives her something to work with. It does. Nice fluid style as we got used to in the wild card heat the other day. Putting a second turn, just falling out of that back of the wave, but you can see pretty great style on that wave sky, and as I said before, she opened a lot of eyes the other day in her wild card heat, and I'd be hard pressed to find someone else that we've seen so far in this event sky that's been as hot of a rider as she is.
All right, Muna White taking a look at this one. Nice first snap there, throwing a lot of spray. Looking really sharp as usual. That is going to be sort of a one-hit wonder.